This is a split pea soup recipe, originally from the Goodman of Paris from 1393, that I made during the War of Phoenix 4 in February of 2026.
Today's recipe comes from the book Food, Wine, and Song, Music and Feasting in Renaissance Europe. And it also comes with the CD of all the songs, and then it has recipes for the food that is mentioned in the songs. So this is a singing and eating celebration. This recipe is split pea soup thickened with spicy bread and served with confit chicken. It goes along with the song Adieu ces bons vents de la noise, which is a singer tells of his departure from Leon, lamenting, I depart weighted down by my load of walnuts, for I cannot find beans or peas. So here we have a pea recipe. Soak the peas in cold water overnight. Chop and sweat the onions and garlic in a saucepan. Add the split peas. Pour over half of the milk and top up with water to just cover the peas. Season with salt and pepper. Allow to cook slowly for 3 hours or until the peas are soft. I'm going to make a smaller version of this, as the recipe serves 6 and I only need it for 2 people. Got the fire started, and when it's going, I'll put the frying pan on with the first part of the ingredients. After soaking the peas overnight, the next step is chop and sweat the onion and garlic in a saucepan. Then add the split peas. Because I'm doing only half a recipe, I only chopped up half of the onion, and it was a big onion. So the recipe calls for sweating the onions, not caramelizing them. So you just want them to be releasing some moisture and getting soft without browning. I've drained the water off the split peas that it was soaking in overnight, rinse them again, and then added a little bit of water in there still. So get that in the pan. Add the split peas. Pour over half of the milk and top up with water to just cover the peas. Season with salt and pepper. Allow to cook slowly for 3 hours or until the peas are soft. I've added the milk, and here is a noggin of water. For salt and pepper, I'm using powder Fort, strong powder, which is a spice mix that includes a lot of medial spices. I have a separate recipe in the videos on how to make powder forte. In a separate pan, bring the remaining milk to a boil and add all the spices and herbs. Allow this to infuse. Add the bread and soak for 1 hour. So the remaining spices are the cloves, anise, saffron, 1 bay leaf, cinnamon, a sprig of thyme, a sprig of rosemary. Most of those spices are in powder fine, which is a different spice mix than powder fort. And we also have the rosemary and thyme. Rosemary and thyme here, so I'll add that into the pan along with the milk. So here's the rest of the milk. I don't have a sprig of rosemary, so I'm just going to add a pinch, maybe 2 pinches, and then some thyme, and the fine powder. This is the dried bread that I left out overnight, and that's to act as a thickener. So instead of using flour to make like a roux, it's just the bread gets soaked and cooked and then strained to remove any big pieces. So this is the bread. It's been boiling for about an hour, so now it's a thick paste. And this thick paste goes into the peas to just as a thickener. It's probably an oatmeal consistency, the bread paste. And so that goes in, and then it all gets stirred up so that the bread thickens the soup. And as soon as the split peas are soft, it's done, which they should be now. The recipe calls for taking the cooked chicken leg, removing the skin and bones, and flake it into the soup bowls, and then pour the soup over the top. I'm using smoked chicken thighs that I previously smoked, and so they already have the skins taken off. So I'm just going to take the meat off the bone. Here's the meat from 4 chicken thighs. The chicken pieces get put into the bowls, and then the soup is poured on top. All right, it's time to taste test. So the bread has thickened the soup, and we're pouring it over the chicken meat. The recipe calls for it to be porridge-like. This is not quite that thick, but it's still thick with the bread. All right, let's give that a try. First bite. Rosemary spice is the most prevalent flavor. The peas are soft but not mushy, and there's lots and lots of chicken, so I like having the chicken added to it, and the onions. Pretty good. Easy to cook, although it took a couple steps to make all the parts, but it's really good. Thanks for watching.